Welcome to the weekly roundup of key business developments in Sri Lanka. I'm Nishani Pigera. Let's first take a look at the main stories for this week. Sri Lanka to conclude external debt restructure. CSE continues bullish momentum. And IRD achieves 70% of its annual target this year. In our top story this week, Sri Lanka is soon expected to conclude its external debt restructuring as the new government endorsed the bondholder deal. Sri Lanka will now exchange its existing dollar bonds to new bonds linked to economic growth. The macro-linked bonds will see the external debt stock reduced by around $2 to $4.6 billion, with principal repayments only starting from 2028. This moratorium will help the nation recover and build the required foreign reserves for the debt repayments. Under this agreement, the bondholders have agreed to present a value concession of 40% as the baseline scenario. Many analysts have urged the government to stick to the current IMF program, as doing so unlocks further aid from other international organizations and investors. On a related note, Fitch has said Sri Lanka's default status could be removed following the completion of the external debt restructure and the normalization of relations with commercial creditors. The World Bank too recently signed a $200 million loan under the Reset Development Policy Program to support the current economic reforms. The loan is the second part of a two-part series that began in 2022 with a $500 million loan disbursed last year. The Ministry of Power and Energy will introduce a more consumer-friendly electricity tariff system after a thorough study. Earlier this year, the CBSL slashed electricity tariffs by 22%, which in turn helped ease the cost of living. The current cost-reflective pricing comes per the IMF recommendations in a bid to make the SOEs profitable and reduce the burden on the budget. In the first 4 months this year, 52 key SOEs reported net profits of 185 billion rupees. The all-share price index at the Colombo Stock Exchange continued its bullish trend into the third consecutive week, following the victory of NPP candidate Andrakumara Desanayake, gaining nearly 1,100 points since the elections. Despite the current bullish sentiment, investors were also seen taking profits, which could slow the bullish trend in the coming weeks. Following the completion of the external debt restructure, potential foreign inflows and a rating upgrade could boost momentum. On a related note, recently Dr. Nandadal Veerasinghe, the CBSL governor, said that recommendations have been given to the Treasury to import vehicles without compromising the foreign reserves. Sri Lanka is expected to ease import restrictions on vehicles by the first quarter of 2025. With the new government proposing to reduce the tax burden on the people, easing of import restrictions on vehicles could bring in the much-needed tax revenues to make up for the shortfall. As of September, the Inland Revenue Department has successfully achieved 70% of its annual target this year, having collected over 1.4 billion rupees from the 2 billion rupee target. According to Sepalika Chandrasekara, IRD Commissioner General, starting last week, visits will be made to the premises of taxpayers to collect outstanding dues. Further, the IRD has also initiated a program to collect outstanding self-assessment tax dues of over 570 billion rupees with a deadline of November 30th. According to the IRD, the dues are owed by only a small group of taxpayers. In our weekly tourism update, in the first 6 days of October, over 25,000 tourists arrived in the country, bringing the year-to-date total to over 1.5 million. Delhi arrivals continued to trend lower, rising to 4,328 in the month, up from the 4,071 recorded in September. India continues to be the primary source market, followed by China and Germany. At the Treasury bill auction held on Wednesday, yields on all maturities fell for the second consecutive week. Bids amounting to 243 billion rupees were received, of which 85 billion rupees were accepted. The Sri Lankan rupee appreciated against the dollar this week, with the central bank's indicative mid-spot rate ranging around 295 to 300 rupees. So far this year, the rupee has appreciated by over 9% against the dollar. And with that, we wind up for this week. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel at the link below for regular updates on economic and business developments in Sri Lanka. Until we see you again next week, thank you for watching. Stay safe.